Hey everyone, I'm Jack. Welcome back to your practice. This one is for life. They're all for life, but how we live life today is a lot of sitting, a lot of driving, not so much walking around, depending on where you live, a lot of computering, a lot of texting. So we're going to do some poses that counter this, basically. So actually, let's start like this. Isn't that weird? Just slump over for a minute. Notice where you can breathe. Notice what feels cramped. Notice your response to this. I don't want to give you too many clues. Just notice how you feel. And then sit tall. You can be sitting on your shins like me, or you could sit cross-legged. It doesn't matter. But sit tall. Take a couple breaths. And notice how you feel. In my energy, which is a little bit of an out there way to say it, but in my energy, my attitude, the way that I respond when I'm sitting all slumped over is kind of like whatever attitude. And when I'm sitting up tall like this, my energy shifts and I feel a little bit more alert and engaged. So let's start on our backs for our practice. Except this one likes when I lay down. She likes to get a little frisky, so cross our fingers that she'll go do her own practice. It won't bother me. Take a big stretch once you lie down. Take your arms overhead, feel your toes point, and take a breath into your pelvis. So you might even for a minute take your hands to your hip bones. See if you could breathe across the hip bones, but then also right below the hip bones into your hip flexors. And then go ahead and reach your arms overhead again. And as you point your toes and stretch your legs, see if you can stretch your hip flexors a little bit longer. Take one more breath. Stretch longer as you inhale. Breathe out to empty. And then take your arms by your sides. You can rest them on your mat one at a time. Bend your knee and bring your foot to the ground, one leg at a time. Setting up for bridge pose, make sure your toes point forward. Some of us will be able to reach our heels with our fingers, but some of us won't. That doesn't work for every body. So as you plant your feet, just be sure your toes are pointing just about forward. And your ankle and your knee are somewhat stacked. Take a breath and lift your butt up just an inch, and then lay your butt back down as you draw your sit bones toward your heels. So you've lengthened your lower back. Now take a breath into your lower back. Let it breathe all the way out. Take a breath in through your nose. And then breathe out, lift your hips up, finding bridge pose. So when I lay down, the cat loves to headbutt my head. One happened. Don't worry about it now. If you want to rewind and watch that, fine. But we have to practice with distractions because that's part of life. So in your bridge pose, imagine your knees track forward and your tailbone reaches toward your inner knees. And then let the shoulders get heavy. Take one more big breath in. And then slowly, from the top of your spine to the bottom, start to lower down. And as you lower, imagine your sit bones reach toward your heels. So you get your length in the lower back. Now pause here, breathe into the lower back. And then breathe out, press your feet down, lift your hips. Notice your jaw, let it relax. Pause in bridge pose. Thigh bones track forward and away from you. Inner thighs wrap in and down toward the ground, keeping your gaze looking up toward the ceiling. So starting to turn on some heat in the legs, open the pelvis. Can you breathe into the pelvis? You might take the hands to the hip bones again and feel. If you could send your breath there. Let's stay for one more breath. And then slowly lower yourself down, one vertebra at a time. Lengthen your left leg, draw your right knee into your chest. Fingers can lace around the shin. Move it a little bit from side to side, and then take a gentle twist, right knee comes over to the left. You can pick up your shoulders and scoot the left shoulder to the left a little bit and then lay yourself back down. That'll deepen your twist. See how it works for you or how it doesn't. And imagine that long spine even here in your twist. So remember we started by seeing what it felt like to sit all slumped over and then sit up tall. Imagine you're standing up tall, left foot stands on the ground. And then come back through center. Put your right foot on the ground, put your left foot on the ground, move your hips back to the center line if they got a little off kilter, and then take a moment here, breathe and reset. Our posture plays such an important role in how we feel. Lengthen your right leg, draw your left knee into your chest. And honestly, I'm here, I'm still here in yoga land because of how it makes me feel. Thank goodness for it. Draw your left knee over to the right, take your twist to the other side. If picking up the shoulders and scooting the right shoulder to the right a little bit was interesting for you on the first side, then go ahead and do it here. One more breath, please. And then roll over onto your back again, left foot to the ground, and then right foot, scoot your hips through center. Take your hands onto your knees, so your knees will lift your hands, and draw some wide circles with your knees like you're rowing a boat. And then move your circles in the other direction. All right, now roll to one side, come up to sit. Listen, cat. Let's come onto hands and knees, tabletop. A few rounds of cat and cow, letting the tops of your feet press down. As you breathe in, let the sit bones lift, the belly drop, look forward. And then as you breathe out, round your spine for cat pose. Navel lifts up a bit. Inhale, sit bones lift, belly drops, heart opens, shoulder blades squeeze. Breathe out, round your spine, press into the ground, chin to throat. A few more times, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Feel the movement start from the tailbone. So as you breathe out, tailbone drops, and then the rest of the spine moves in response to that. Step your right foot forward between your thumbs. If it doesn't quite make it, just use your right hand to help it land so that you can lift your chest, right knee and ankle, have a bit of a stack as you lengthen your arms up. Crescent lunge. Lunge your right knee forward. And then bring your attention today to the front of the left hip. Remember that space we've been breathing into? Let the left hip flexor get space. Take your hands to the back of your head. Let your chin lift. Let your eyes lift. So you're cradling your head in your hand. Let your elbows reach forward a little bit. Think forward and up like there's a little bit of a scoop. Keep lifting pubic bone to navel. Take one more breath in. And then breathe out, drop your hands down to the ground. Slip your right knee next to your left, and then come all the way onto your belly. Lie yourself down. Take your forehead to the mat. Take your hands by your sides. Let your palms face up. As you inhale, loop your shoulders up to your ears. Start to lift your head. As you exhale, lift your heart. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Keep your neck long though, so you're not looking forward. You're only looking slightly forward, but mostly down. And then go ahead and lift your legs if your lower back feels okay. This is a little tricky for the low back. Keep the legs on the ground. Whether you have the legs lifted or not, let the tailbone reach toward the ankles for locust pose. And then exhale, release. Bring one of your ears down to the mat and definitely let your shoulders just kind of slump forward. Take a breath into your belly. Breathe all the way out. Bring your forehead or your chin back to the mat so your neck is neutral. Inhale, loop the shoulders up to the ears, and then exhale, lift the heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades so you're using your upper back muscles, and then you can lift your legs if you want. Imagine your legs are lifting from the inseam of your pants. Upper back body is engaged, lower back body is engaged. Take one more big breath in, and then breathe out, release, bring your other ear to the ground. Take one more breath here, and then come back onto your hands and your knees. Instead of cat-cow, let's find some circles. So circling the hips in one direction. It's nice for the wrist too. Let's turn the fingertips to face out. And then move your hips in the other direction. And if it's okay for your hands and wrist, you can flip your fingertips to face you. Ooh, yeah, feeling that. All right, flip your fingertips to face forward again. Step your left foot forward to the top of your mat. As you lift your chest and arms, check out your left knee. Make sure it's moving forward in space. It's not dipping in or dipping out, but it's in the same trajectory as the ankle and the front toes. Back foot, top of foot can rest or the toes could be tucked. But as you lunge forward, draw awareness into the front of the right hip. As you breathe out, you might sink a little bit deeper, but finding a depth that feels breathable, because as soon as we get a little caught with the breath, then we know we've gone too far. Lace your hands to the back of the skull and lift the head. So lay the head into the hands and then feel like you're kind of scooping the head up. So you can take tension out of the neck, let the elbows come in and up a little bit. And let your breath stay steady. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Slip your right knee next to your left. Remove your cat or your pet, and we'll meet on our belly again. So neutral neck means chin or forehead to the ground. This time, if you can lace your hands behind your back, go ahead and do that. And then inhale, start to lift your head, chest, arms, and legs at the same time. And then think about getting longer rather than trying to lift up so high. Get long, long, long. Take one more breath in, and then breathe out, release, and let it go. All right, let's pause for a moment, have a look up here. So you can lift up on your forearms in a little bit of a Sphinx pose pause moment, if that works for you. And I'd like to show you where we're headed. So we'll play with Dhanurasana or bow pose, and this won't be for everyone. And you'll know because remember, your fullest expression of the pose is where you can breathe. So it's not like what you've seen on Instagram or on, Yoga Magazine. So we'll start by bringing the arms by the sides, and then one at a time, bending the knees, heels come toward the butt. From here, you'll reach your hands toward your feet, your ankles, or your shins. It doesn't matter. And then see if you can take your hand to the inside of the foot. So your thumbs point up. So right away, you get an external rotation of the shoulders, letting them open up a little bit more. Don't let that widen your feet, though. As you breathe out, start to lift up, kicking your feet into your hands, pulling your hands into your feet. Keeping the neck nice and long, so no need to look up here. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades. And then exhale, let it go, release. So let's try that together. If you feel like you can catch your feet or your shins or your ankles but you can't flip the thumb up, you can't turn the hand, that's okay too. I'll try that with you. And we'll just make sure we pay attention to keeping the shoulders away from the ears. So go ahead, lie down, chin or forehead on the ground, bend the knees, grab your feet or ankles. You can flip the foot to the inside or the hand to the inside of the foot or the thumb facing up or not. Breathe out to lift up, press feet into hands, hands into feet. And whether you flip the hand or not, keep the shoulders out of the ears. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades behind the heart. Keep lengthening the tailbone toward the inner knees. And you might even rock a little bit because you're breathing, right? Take one more big breath. And then breathe out, release, let it go. Stack your hands, let your forehead rest, and windshield wiper your knees and your shins a little bit from side to side. Open and close your mouth. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. What do you think? Do you have one more in you? Can't hear you, honestly. But, we can't just do something one time and expect to make progress. So let's do it one more time if you've got it in you. Come back to your breath first as you inhale and you exhale. I like to lift on the exhale, so I'll stay on the ground to inhale and then lift on the exhale. And when you want to release, let that be on a breath out. Stack your hands again, sway your knees and shins and toes and heels and feet side to side. And then lengthen your legs and let them come as wide as your mat. Let your toes turn in, your heels flap out. And if you like to keep your hands stacked and rest your forehead for Shavasana, go ahead. If you'd rather bring your head to one side, cool. Or if you want to flip on your back for a more traditional Shavasana, rest pose, go ahead. In whichever posture you choose to place your physical body, let the posture of the mind be flexible. So that as we get still in body, if mind seems to be active, you don't let yourself get caught up. If a thought comes in, you notice yourself getting carried away with it, you just reset. Come back to breathing in and then breathing out. If you have more time to rest, of course, please stay and rest. If you're ready to move on, gently bring yourself back up to a seated posture. And take a hand over the heart and a hand over the belly. Take another full round of breath. Feel yourself sit up nice and tall as you bring your hands to your heart, so you feel your head stack right over your pelvis. Shoulders relaxed. Kind of imprinting this on the body so that there's some muscle memory as you move into the rest of your day, your week, your life. Stand up tall. Thank you so much for your practice today. I appreciate you making this time for you because it affects all of us. and I hope that I will see you in a training or on retreat soon. Comment below, let me know what other kind of videos would be supportive to you.